Welcome. So, I want to answer a question that you guys might be asking yourself as far as who is Cassie Graves and what makes her such a federal employee, um, expert or guru or whatever in this space. So, today I want to just introduce myself, who I am, and kind of a little bit about my background and how I got started in the federal employee consulting space to help professionals all around the country increase their trust and credibility with the federal employees that they serve. So to start out, I've been in the insurance industry since 2008. I got started very young. Was fortunate enough to be with a company that I was required to get all four of my insurance licenses. At the time, my husband was not a federal employee, but after just a few short years of starting in the insurance industry, he did become a federal employee. We lived in an area where there was about three different military installations within an hour of us. And we were just kind of, that was a main employer in the area. And just naturally, so was the, military personnel as well. And so in my job, we helped federal and military personnel with replacing their life insurance program and things like that. But the problem I had is I was a captive personnel, which meant that, being with the company, you had to kind of fit into our box or I had to refer you to somewhere else. And that didn't feel so good all the time, especially when I really wanted to help, people get what they needed, whether it was life insurance or, another program, car insurance, auto insurance. We did a number of different types of insurance. I did become the commercial specialist for that group. On a personal note, I have two boys and twin boys, for those of you who don't know. And so when I had the boys, the company I was with, the agent I was working for at this particular group, we kind of had a handshake agreement that I would be part-time so that I didn't have to pay money to raise my kids. But that after a few short years, that agreement ran out and I got a notice that I had to do something different. So I went independent and branched out with a colleague of mine and helped her with her business. Started in the Medicare and kind of the retirement side because that really interested me and I really enjoyed kind of that realm of it. And also, that's where she was as far as the mentorship and guidance. So I thought, why not help her and be able to work as an independent insurance representative? So I did that actually for a couple of years. And then the group I was with ended up offering a federal benefit class. And I thought, well, I need to know this because I'm the spouse of a federal employee. And I know a lot of my family and friends might benefit from this as well. And so I decided to take the class and learn more in depth about the federal benefits. So I did that in 2014, and that started my journey and really ignited a passion in me to help federal employees and their spouses understand their benefits in such a way that actually affect them in retirement. And so that's how my journey got started. I finished out my Medicare commitment for that year, and then I decided to branch out into the federal employee market space. And the group again that I was with, they kind of split us independent reps up, and they gave me the southeast part of the state that I was at, and I was traveling 4 to 6 hours to meet with employees. And I didn't understand why I had to do that because we had such an, saturated area to be able to help employees in the area. But they had given it to another advisor, and I just said, I can't keep traveling with two young boys at home. And then I missed their first Christmas concert, and that was when I put the kibosh on it completely, and I decided to do marketing closer to home. So I got in touch with a group to help me market, and it worked out where they needed a federal benefits specialist on their team, and I could be able to do that from home. So it was like a win-win for both of us at the time, and I just really loved being able to be there for my kiddos and being able to know that I'm still fulfilling my mission and vision, which is ultimately at that point, by transitioning into more the consulting side for financial professionals was going to be a huge exponential growth. I wasn't just able to, you know, work on a few employees at the time. I could help many employees and making sure that they understood the federal benefits through services to help professionals. And so I really enjoyed that role. Fast forward another couple years with that group, and we just had some differences of opinions on where I could see kind of customer service and things like that, and decided that I was going to branch out and make Fed option services available for all independent reps. And another part with that group is I felt captive again. I felt like you had to fit into our little program or it just wasn't going to be a good fit. And there were many people that came through that I got to meet and have a relationship with who maybe didn't need certain parts of the program, but liked other parts of the program. And I thought, well, why can't professionals have the freedom to choose what they need and what they don't need? And so I branched out January of 2020 and launched Fed Option services to be available for professionals all around the country who needed back office support with the federal employee benefits. And so at that time, then we didn't realize what was happening down the pike, and then COVID happened, and I was homeschooling my boys while trying to ensure that Fed options could grow. And so learned a lot during that journey, but here we are. Several years later, and are still able to provide resources and tools and service to financial professionals and insurance reps all across the country who are working with the federal employee market. So we offer a number of different services through Fed Options, and I'll get into a little bit about that on another video when I introduce the company as a whole and go into all the different services and products that we offer, because through that, there were many things that we learned, or I learned rather, that financial professionals and insurance representatives could use that would help them to elevate different parts of the conversation that they were having with federal employees. And so we've created a number of resources, and we've got a lot of things also going on that we'll be launching here very shortly. So I would love to be able to, give you guys all of that feedback and show you exactly what we're working on. So in another video, again, I'll still go over our services and what we have currently, and then we'll talk about what's going on in the future. So since all of that has happened, I've moved across the country, moved back to the Northwest, and that's where we're currently located. Did go through some changes in life with that as well. And now I have some stepdaughters and a different kind of blended family, which is also really great. But it definitely created a level of challenge, as business goes and personal life goes. But through that, I've been so thankful to meet certain people and different connections and be able to continue supporting our professionals on a very real level. And so we work with holistic planners who are looking at a lot of aspects with the federal employees. As you'll see when we talk about some of our services on the next video, or on a different video rather, then you'll get an idea of what our programs and services also produce and what we've really been what has been the foundation and flagship service of Fed Options, and what does that look like for you guys. So through that though, I've always had a knack of loving to learn and enjoying learning. And when I got started in the federal space and, got started in the consulting role, I realized how kind of, I wouldn't say easy, but it was quickly for me to be able to understand the federal benefits and be able to explain them in such a way that were easy for professionals and employees alike to be able to understand what their benefits are, what are the rules, why certain things are what they are, why we can't explain certain things, right? We cannot apply logic to government policy. That is definitely a motto I've adopted over time with working with federal employee benefits. Um, but it's really been so great to be able to hear feedback from employees and professionals about how great our service has impacted them in very real ways, and the fact that we've been able to be here for professionals to where they can focus on what they do best, right? Which is providing the solutions and everything else, but still be able to be that resource for the employees, and to be a creditable source too, right? Because you can get certain numbers from, the employee and everything else. If they're right or not, who knows, right? And that's where we are able to kind of chime in and verify, making sure that information is correct, making sure that the numbers are correct, that they understand the differences and the things and the choices that they have to make at retirement. And then what can they do now and what they do differently moving forward to where it really sets them up for success. So we help on a number of different ways where we can just assist with those decisions, helping the conversations in the meeting process, and all sorts of different things that we'll get into on our next video. So thank you guys so much for your time today, and I look forward to meeting all of you as well. Of course, if you want to understand a little bit more in depth on a one-on-one, then we'll have my calendar link in the comments and description below so you can see what that looks like, and pick a time that works for you, and we'll dive into those details about working together. Thank you so much for your time today, and have a great day.